and make sure that you've got 2 blocks and a blanket, and then we're going to start by sitting down. And for this first one, I encourage you to sit however feels good to you. So you might sit cross-legged, you might sit in hero's pose, but we'll go ahead and elevate our pelvis on a blanket or a block. And then Steve, can you turn your camera down a little bit? I only see the top of your head. Awesome, thank you. And then once you find yourself in a tall, comfortable seat, you might remove any flesh that's underneath your sit bones and just let the hands rest on the tops of your thighs. And then notice if you can soften the shoulder blades down the back and lift up through the heart space. And then if it feels comfortable for you, you'll either bring your gaze to rest in the center of your space or let the eyes close down completely. And we're just going to start for these first few moments here, just connecting with your breath. So you'll notice what the breath feels like in the body. You'll notice what the weight of the hands feel like against the thighs, what the thighs feel like against the floor, the feet into the floor, the pelvis into the floor. Notice if you can allow the arms to be a little heavier as the head lifts a little bit more. Soften your tongue and soften your jaw. And then notice if there's any unnecessary tension around the eyes or the eyelids. And then you'll just take about 3 more breath cycles here. One of the things that being of service most evokes or most requires is the sense of presence. And so wherever we are called to serve and in whatever way, our first thing that we have to do is really take a moment to connect with what are the needs of a given moment and how are our unique skills able to be applied. So as we move through the rest of our class, I just encourage you to take each movement with a sense of reverence as an opportunity as well to anchor. And we'll see how that goes. So open your arms out so they touch the floor alongside your hips. And then you'll inhale, reach your arms parallel to the floor. Exhale, bend the elbows and hug the elbows down towards your waist. Inhale, reach out through the fingertips, arms reach up and overhead. And then exhale, palms press together and come through heart center. From here, inhale, just open the arms out to the right and to the left. Exhale, bend the elbows, squeezing the shoulders onto the back. Inhale, reach out through the fingers, maybe look up this time if you'd like. And exhale, hands through heart center. We'll do 2 more sets of those. So just a big inhale, opening the arms out to the right and to the left. Exhale, hugging the elbows to the waist, the spine lifts. Inhale, extend out through the fingers, maybe look up as you reach up. And then exhale, press the palms together as they come to heart center. Last time, inhale, opening the arms out, fingers reach out. Exhale, squeeze the shoulder blades onto the back and lift your heart. Inhale, arms sweep out and up. And exhale, hands through heart center. Go ahead and lower both arms out to the right and to the left. And then you'll inhale and just sweep your left arm up and overhead. And exhale, mini side bend towards the right. And we've just got 4 of these. So you'll inhale and come back up a little. And exhale, maybe deepen the side bend to the right. And as you take these next 3, just notice what you notice as you're coming slowly in and slowly out of the side bend. Noticing how there's a little bit of engagement that can happen in the abdomen. A little reach through your left hand. And then the next time you side bend to the right, we'll go ahead and stay here. Root down through your left hip. Reach out through your left fingers, and you might bend your left elbow and hold your head with your hand. Now, if you do that, you'll just push your head back into your hand, root down into your left hip, and soften the right shoulder away from the right ear. And you just notice the breath and deepen the breath. Awesome sauce. Next in breath, reach out through the left fingers, and then open the arm out and come all the way back up to center. Lower the hand down and just pause. Notice if you notice anything different between the sides, and then you might want to switch the cross of your legs. Great, and then we'll just try that on the other side. So inhale, lift up through your right arm, and exhale, little side bend towards the left. And you've just got 4 of these. And you're allowing every inhalation to draw you slightly out of the shape, and every exhalation to take you a little bit deeper. And we're working with this notion that really to be of service, we kind of have to take things slowly. I don't know about you, but I know that when I give unsolicited advice, and it feels like I'm just going in really quickly and strongly, and the results are not always so good. Next time you're in that little side bend, go ahead and stay. Soften the left shoulder away from the left ear. Root down through your right hip and draw the front ribs in and back a bit more. Now you might stay here reaching out through your right fingers, or bend the right elbow and draw the head, or rather the hand into the head. And then you can just lightly push your head back as you root through your right hip and notice what sensations are happening here. Awesome stuff. Next in breath, reach out through your right arm. Reach it out to the right and bring your spine all the way back up to center. Lower the right hand down and just take a moment to pause and notice what you notice between the 2 sides of the body. Okay, let's bring our hands to our elbows like you're I don't know what you would be, but you'll inhale and lift up through the spine. As you exhale, start to rotate towards the left, or to your right rather. And inhale, come back up. And exhale, we'll go to the same side. And you're just going to take 4 of these. And you're just noticing that the inhalation draws you back through center, and the exhale is a gentle rotation to the left. Nice job. The next time you rotate to the left, you'll pause. Release your right hand outside of your left knee. Bring your left hand to the floor behind you. Inhale, reach up through your spine. And as you exhale, draw the belly in on the left side a little bit more. Rotate the right ribs a little bit more towards the left. And you might choose to stay here, just extending up through the crown of your head. You might choose to dip your chin towards your chest and notice if that releases or stretches anything in the back of your neck. And then you might choose to look over your right shoulder towards the front of your space, and then maybe lift the gaze up and notice what that does to the neck. And you've just got 2 more breath cycles here. On your next in-breath, draw the head back towards the left, so it's into the twist. And then you'll exhale, unwind the spine, releasing both hands on top of the thighs, and just notice if you notice anything different between the sides. Last set, last side. Both hands come back to your shoulders. Inhale, lift up. And then exhale, draw the belly in on the right, start to rotate towards the right. And you've got 4 of these little, they're like sprinklers, that's what they are. Exhale, rotating to the right, inhaling, unwinding and lifting. And we're just using these gentle movements to start to wake up so that the body can feel pretty loved and nurtured. The next time you rotate to the right, pause, release the left hand outside of the right thigh. Release the right hand behind you. Inhale, lift up through the spine. As you exhale, draw the right ribs in and back and allow the left ribs to ripple towards the right. And then you could just take 2 to 3 more breath cycles like this in this position, reaching up through the crown, drawing the belly in on the right. You might choose to dip your chin towards your chest. Notice if that does anything to the back of your neck. And then you might choose to look over your left shoulder and then maybe lift your gaze in alignment with the horizon and just pause and breathe. And then on your next in-breath, if the head is towards the left, return it towards the right. Unwind the spine and allow both hands to rest on the tops of the thighs. And then you'll just take a moment to pause here and notice what you notice. Great. Let's go ahead and extend our legs long. If you've got socks on now, would probably be a great time to take them off. And then you're just going to extend both legs long. And the first thing you're going to do is take 3 or 4 shoulder circles here. And you go 3 or 4 one direction, and 3 or 4 the other, just starting to see what the body is doing now. And when you feel complete with that, hands will then come back behind you. Fingertips face in alignment with the same direction of your toes, flex through the feet, plant your palms on the mat, and you're just going to bend the elbows towards each other. Now start to push back through the hands to straighten the arm and draw your heart forward like a little flapper girl on the back of the truck. So the arms are really straight and we're just finding a nice little stretch on the back, or rather the front of our chest. And gently release that. We'll do that one more time. So bend the elbows, hug the elbows towards each other, push the hands down, straighten the arms. And then when the arms are straight, keep hugging the elbows towards each other until the shoulder blades come onto the back. Notice a lift in the heart. Maybe see if you can lift the gaze up 1 millimeter. Awesome sauce. All right. Lean back, cross the ankles, and come forward onto hands and knees. Now, once you make your way to hands and knees, you might want to put your blocks to the upper outer corners of your space. You might also wish to put your blanket in the center of your space. And that's totally up to you. And then the first thing you'll do is just come to tabletop position. Make sure your hands are shoulder distance apart. And then take 3 to 4 cats and cows. So you'll inhale, pull the heart forward and through, lower the belly, lift the tail. And exhale, round through the spine. And you just got 2 to 3 more of those, and you're just observing and noticing what the body feels like, how the breath is moving in this orientation. Yep. And on your next inhalation, return to a neutral tabletop position. Okay, push down into your left hand, sweep your right hand up towards the sky. Yep, and you might make a fist with that right hand and create a little circle with the wrist going one direction, and then maybe reverse that and go the other direction. And you're just continuing to press into your left hand. Nice job. Go ahead and come to stillness with the right hand. Inhale, reach up through the right fingers a little bit more. And then exhale, thread that right hand underneath you, bringing the back of the shoulder, the hand, the ear to the mat. And you might reposition that left hand if you'd like, in order to deepen your twist or not. But you're noticing what happens if you push into the back of the right hand, back of the right elbow, back of the right shoulder, and just breathe. Nice job. When you're ready, replant the left hand. Inhale, sweep the right arm up towards the sky. And then exhale, lower the hand down. And we'll try that on the other side. Inhale, sweep your left arm up towards the sky. Create a little fist and create some little wrist circles here. And you're just observing what this feels like as you do this, and be sure to go both directions. Yep. And then let's go ahead and come to a still spot. Inhale, reach up through your left hand. Exhale, wrap the arm underneath you to bring the back of the left hand, the left shoulder, the left ear to the mat. And you might walk the right hand in a little bit if you'd like. And then just observe what happens if you breathe into the sensations that you might be experiencing in the back of the arm, the shoulder, or even this back of the spine. Nice work. Next in breath, push down through the right hand, swim the left arm back up to the sky. And exhale, lower the hand down. Awesome sauce. Bring your feet so they're parallel towards one another and hip distance apart. And then inhale, lower the belly, look forward. Exhale, press back to that modified child's pose, scooping the belly, pressing your hips back to your heels, melting chest and head to the floor at the same time. Inhale, come forward, hands and knees. Exhale, tuck the toes, lift the hips, downward facing dog. Inhale, come forward, hands and knees. And exhale, press back to that modified child's pose. So that's the sequence we'll do. We'll do it 4 more times. As you inhale this time, maybe you come forward for a 5-count inhalation. And then maybe you exhale for a 5-count exhalation. And you'll just continue to work like that, finding a bit of evenness to the breath as we start to elongate the breath. Yep. And then maybe your next version will be 6 counts to a cat shape, or rather cow shape, and 6 counts to a downward facing dog shape. And then you're noticing a slow 6 count inhalation back to hands and knees, and a slow 6 count exhalation back to child's pose. And you've got a few more sets, so maybe the next one will be a 7 count inhalation, followed by a 7 count exhalation. And so we're allowing this simple movement to start to train the mind. I think what happens in the situations that often cause us or evoke the best within us is that our mind is focused. It doesn't feel scattered with worries or with doubts. There's a part of us that starts to take over. And I think from a yogic perspective, we could say that that's our buddhi, our intuition. All right, so this next time you come forward into or back into downward facing dog, you're going to go ahead and stay there. And I encourage you to bend both of your knees quite a bit. And then with your knees bent, go ahead and just pause and breathe. Notice what you notice. Start to extend your right heel to the floor and then spin your right heel in towards your left foot. Bend the left knee even more. And notice a little side body stretch happening on the right side, maybe stretch on the back of the right calf. Next in breath, come back to center. And as you exhale, bend both knees. And then you'll inhale and straighten the left leg. Spin the left heel in towards the right foot. And then find that fun stretch happening on the left side body. Yep. And then when you're ready, you'll inhale and come back to center. Exhale, keep both knees bent. And then try that one more time on your own. So extend the right leg long, bend the left knee, ripple the rib cage to the right, and notice what's happening on the right side. And then come back through center and do that one more time on the other side. And you're just paying attention. How's the body feeling on this side? Awesome stuff. When you're ready, you'll come to a still neutral spot. And then let's go ahead and inhale and come forward into plank pose. Now, when you come into plank, notice if it feels better to turn the wrist creases so they're parallel to the front of your space. And then just really push down through the hands, push down through the feet, and lift up through the abdomen and the inner thighs. Now again, let the heart win the race to the floor and let the head back off just a little bit. Yep. And as you're ready, lower the knees down to the mat. Great. Step your right foot forward outside of your right hand. And then make sure the right foot is still on your mat. Great. From here, let's go ahead and tuck your back toes under and straighten your back leg long. You might choose to put your hands on your blocks at this point in time or keep them completely on the floor if that works for you. But you're going to spin your back foot down like it's going either for a long warrior one or a warrior two. Keep drawing your outer right hip back and start to walk your hands over to the left. And it's more of like an upper left corner diagonal versus all the way to the left. Yep. So the right knee stays bent. Your pelvis presses back. You're pressing on the knife edge of your left foot. And you're just saying, oh, wow, I've not done this in a really, really long time. And then notice if you can take in a deeper breath. On your next exhalation, start to walk your hands back so they're inside of your front foot. Great. From here, press down onto your back foot. Press your front, or rather your right elbow into your right knee, and draw your outer right hip back. Draw your left hand to your left hip. Start to roll your rib cage to the left so you can stack your left shoulder on top of the right, but your left hip still is coming to the front. So front knee stays super bent. Yep. On your next in breath, reach back through your left hand. And as you exhale, either swim or sweep the arm up and overhead, whatever feels best to you. And you exhale and swim or sweep it back. And you've got 3 more of these. So inhale, the arm comes up and over your head. And exhale, the arm goes back. And we're just noticing what we notice. This is a really big hip opener pretty quickly. But you're noticing that it's probably building a lot of heat. Ironically enough, I feel like for some of us, the situations that evoke the best of us are the ones that do have a bit of heat or fire or fierceness to them. Okay, the next time your left arm is up and overhead, let's go ahead and pause. Continue to bend into your front knee as best as you can. Yep. Draw that outer right hip back and reach out through your left fingers. Now, just as we did when we were in that seated twist, draw the left low belly in and up so you can, rotate the ribs to the left. Great. Next in-breath, go ahead and gaze down to the floor. As you exhale, come to a low lunge. Pause here. Take a big breath in, and then exhale, step your right foot back to meet your left, plank pose. Inhale, reach your heart and sternum forward. And then exhale, bend your knees, lowering them to the mat, and lower your chest all the way to the mat. So that was clear as mud. Bring your chest body to the floor. Come forward, Roberta. There we go. Awesome. And then from here, let's go ahead and separate our feet about hip distance apart. Press into the tops of your toenails. Press down into the pubic bone and lengthen the tailbone back. Now bring your hands to the back of your head and interlace your fingers. From here, army crawl your elbows a little further forward. Yep. As you inhale, pull your heart and sternum and head forward just a little bit. As you exhale, press the pubic bone, the toes down, and draw the belly button in. Next in-breath, you'll lift just your head and your elbows up and away from the floor. And exhale, lower to hover 1 inch off the floor. And you've got 5 of these. So inhaling, pushing into the head, lifting as high as you want. Exhaling, lowering halfway down. And you'll just do a few more of these to notice that we can find upper strength in the upper back. And just observing how the breath is working in these moments and if the toes are still participating. Awesome sauce. The next time you lift your head, go ahead and pause there. Squeeze the shoulder blades onto your back. Yep. Reach your tailbone back. Press the toes down and see if you can lift your head 1 more millimeter up. Yeah. Next exhale, lower all the way down. Plant your hands alongside your lowest ribs. And then inhale, come up to hands and knees. Awesome sauce. On your next exhalation, step your left foot in front. So left foot outside of left hand. Yep. And then hands might come on blocks here at this point or not. Tuck the back toes under and straighten the back leg long. From here, spin your right foot to the floor, either like you're taking warrior 1 or warrior 2. Really long stance if possible. And then start to walk your hands forward and slightly over to the right, more towards the upper right corner of your mat. Yeah. And so as you're here, you're pressing the right pinky toe down into the floor, lifting through that inner right arch. You're pressing your outer left hip back and into your inner right thigh. And then noticing if you can sort of send your bum back behind you just a bit. Yeah. All right. On your next exhale, walk the hands back so they're inside your front foot. Great. Go ahead and pause. Make sure that the length of your feet is appropriate for where you wish to be for extended side angle. And then from here, you'll press your left elbow into your left knee. Draw your outer left hip back. Draw your right hand to your right hip and push down onto your right pinky toes. Great. From there, sweep your right arm back. And when you're ready, you'll Inhale and reach the arm up and overhead or sweep it overhead, and exhale, swim or sweep it back. And you've just got 4 of those, and you're noticing if you're swimming versus sweeping, it changes what's happening in the shoulders. And sometimes other situations that call out the best in us require us to change our perceptions or our habits about how we do things. And it often evokes with us this idea or this notion that, we can be of service in ways that are very different than we might have preconceived. Nice work, guys. All right, next time your right arm is up and overhead, go ahead and pause. Continue to bend into your front knee as much as you can. Press into that back right pinky toe, and then draw the belly in and up on the right side to rotate the left ribs under. Yeah, great. On your next inhalation, go ahead and look down, and as you exhale, come to a low lunge. Pause here. Plant your hands on the mat. Step your left foot back, plank pose. Awesome. This time in plank, let's go ahead and bend our knees and press back to our downward facing dog for a moment. Now, I want you to observe what happens if you push down into the index fingers and thumbs, lift up through your inner armpits, and at the same time, think of lifting your waist away from your ribs, lift your hips away from your waist, and then feel like you wanted to slide your feet back behind you like you're moonwalking for some reason, only with your feet, and notice what that does to your calves. Awesome sauce. Let's go ahead and inhale and come forward into plank once again. This time you can lower the knees as you did before, or just shift your weight forward and lower all the way down into your belly. Great. When you find yourself on your abdomen, reach your hands back alongside your hips and turn your palms to face down. So if you're hanging out in child's pose, go ahead and hang out there. If you're on your abdomen, we're going to try one of these. So again, press down into the tops of your feet, press down into your pubic bone, and then start to draw your shoulders up towards your ears and draw your shoulder blades onto your back. Next in-breath, just start to lift your head in line with your ears. Great. Now over the next 5 breath cycles, you can start to walk your fingers back and slightly wide as you continue to press into the tops of your toes. Great. Now, as you continue to, there you go, Roberta. As you continue to stay here, you might just be here. You might choose to bend your elbows a little bit. Slight variation for today, yep, and let your hands hover off the floor. And then for these next 3 breath cycles, as you exhale, think of squeezing the shoulder blades onto the back. Oh, look at what that did. Inhale, keep pressing down into the toes, lengthening the tailbone back, yep. Awesome sauce. On your next exhale, lower all the way down. Great. Plant your hands alongside your lowest ribs. And then inhale, come up either plank or tabletop. And exhale, downward facing dog. And then when you're in down dog this time, again, let's notice what's happening in our feet. Maybe your hands can come forward just a little bit as you press down into the index fingers and thumbs. Continue to lift up through the inner armpits and then wrap the triceps to the floor. There you go. From here, lift the hips up and back and then push down into the feet and think of sliding them back as the kneecaps pull up. Great. All right, let's see how this goes. Inhale, lift your right leg up and back. Pause here, push down into that left heel and reach up through that right a little bit more. Yep. Exhale, step your right foot between your hands. Pause. Opportune moment to put hands on blocks. From here, let's step the left foot forward a little bit and spin the left foot down for warrior 1. Now go ahead and straighten that front leg And draw your outer right hip straight back, maybe coming up a bit higher on the blocks if you need to, making your spine pretty long and straight. Oh yeah, great. Pause. Bend your front knee a lot. Push back into your left pinky toe, and then sweep your hands back alongside your hips. Yep. Inhale, squeeze your legs to bring your spine all the way up to vertical. Keep a bend in the front knee. Yep. And then you can reach up through the arms for Virabhadrasana 1, Warrior 1. Other option is to open the arms out, and this time you'll interlace the fingers at the low back. And just like we did before, you'll draw the shoulders up to your ears and squeeze the shoulder blades onto the back, keeping a slight bend in the elbows. And then let's lean our torso forward a little bit, and you can come forward just to a diagonal, or you can try to reach forward a little bit more. So it's like your spine is, your head is reaching for that inner right thigh or inner right knee for this variation of humbled warrior. And you're just pausing and you're breathing. Nice work, guys. On your next in-breath, bring the spine back up to vertical. As you exhale, release your hands to your hips, straighten your front leg long. Draw your outer right hip straight back. And then inhale, reach up through the heart. Now, as you exhale, start to hinge at the hips. And once your spine is parallel to the floor, release your hands to your blocks. So we were just in this position once or a few moments ago. And notice how it feels a little different now. Bring your right hand to your right hip. Keep your spine this long, tucking chin to chest just a bit more. Yep. And on your next inhalation, tailbone back, crown forward, right thumb back. And as you exhale, start to pull the belly in on the right side and rotate towards the right. So belly comes in on the right, push down into the left hand like somebody beneath you is calling your name, and you can only hear it through your left ear. You have to turn, there you go. You have to turn your left ear down. And then maybe you'll keep your hand there, your right hand there, or maybe you'll sweep the right hand up towards the sky. And if you've taken the right hand up, I encourage you to use your peripheral vision to make sure that you can equally see both hands. So if the right hand is too far back, draw it forward so you can use, there you go, your side vision to see both hands. Nice work. On your next exhalation, you'll gently release out of the twist and inhale, come to a low lunge. Step back, downward facing dog, and pause and just notice what you notice between the sides. No worries, no little up dogs here. And then we'll go ahead and try the other side. So inhale, sweep your left leg up and back. Push down through the right heel as you lift up through the left a bit more. Yep. And then exhale, step that left foot between your hands. Great. From here, great opportunity to put your hands on your blocks. Step your back foot in a bit if you need to, and then straighten both legs long, making sure back leg is turned in for warrior 1 crab. Awesome. And then you just pause here, draw your outer left hip back and in towards your inner right thigh and press down into your right pinky toes. Now lift your spine parallel to the floor. Oh, buddy, awesome job. On your next exhalation, make sure you still have a bend in that front knee. And then sweep your hands back so they're parallel to the floor. Great. Squeeze your legs together and bring your spine up to vertical. Arms might reach up and you stay here for warrior 1. Option number 2 is to open the arms out and take awkward opposite interlace behind you. Great. And same thing, shoulders up towards the ears, shoulder blades onto the back, and a slight bend in the elbows. Now, you might just lean forward a little bit and stay here, pressing into your right foot. You might start to angle your nose towards your front knee, but you're still drawing that outer left hip back. You're pressing like crazy in through the knife edge of your back foot. Yep. And you're seeing how much lift you can keep on the front of the body, even if the spine is parallel-ish to the floor. Great. Next in-breath, bring the spine back to vertical. As you exhale, release the hands to the hips, then go ahead and straighten that front leg long. Draw your outer left hip back. Yep. And inhale, lift up through the heart. Not so much, Roberta. And then exhale, fold forward until the spine is parallel to the floor once again. Once the spine is parallel this time, release your hands to your blocks and pause. You might choose to stay here or draw that left hand to your left hip. Press into the knife edge of your back foot. And then as you keep a slight bend in that front knee, you'll scoop the belly in on the left side and rotate towards the left. And then maybe you'll sweep your left arm up and you're just observing and you're noticing. So Roberta, think of leaning your head back just a little bit. Yeah. And then rotating from the left low belly under, and then notice how that feels in the spine. On your next exhalation, you'll gently release. Come to a low lunge, planting both hands on the mat. And then step back, downward facing dog. And then notice if your down dog feels like it can be a little bit longer, meaning your hands and your feet can be a little bit further away from each other now. It's okay if they don't, but just notice if there's that potential. And then let's inhale and come forward into plank. As you exhale, shift your weight forward and lower all the way down. Nice work. Plant the tops of the feet onto the floor. Press down lightly into the hands and then start to draw the shoulders up towards the ears and shoulder blades onto the back. Now, keeping very little weight in the hands, you'll inhale and reach your heart and sternum forward to lift your head, neck, and chest up and away from the floor. And then exhale, lower down about halfway. And you'll do about 2 more of those. Inhaling, lifting up. Yep. And exhaling, lowering down halfway. And inhaling, lifting up. And exhaling, lowering halfway. This last one we're going to hold. So you'll inhale and come up. As you exhale, recommit to pushing down into your pubic bone. Next in-breath, you might start to reach your toes so far back that they float up. And as you exhale, recommit to the pubic bone. Yep. Draw the shoulder blades onto your back and see if you can reach the sternum forward a little bit more. Nice work. Awesome sauce. From here, slide your hands back about 1 inch. Next in-breath, push down through the arms. Press down into the toes. Come into upward facing dog or cobra, whatever feels best to you. Yep. And then gently lower all the way down. Pause and breathe. And then let's make our way back to downward facing dog. You can either come through tabletop or you can come through plank. Awesome sauce. This next one's going to sound weird, but you guys got this. Inhale, lift your right leg up and back. As you exhale, step the right foot halfway forward. So it's halfway between your back foot and your front hands. Yep. From there, shift your weight forward, lift your left leg parallel to the floor. So you might want to bring your hands to blocks if that feels better to you, or keep your hands on the floor. So now we're in this weird standing splits position, and you can just hang out here, lifting through that left thigh, slightly bending that right knee, or you can lift your spine so it's parallel to the floor. Yep. You can choose to stay there or draw your hands to heart center and hover for warrior 3. Oh, buddy man, yep. Take a big breath in here. On your next exhale, you got it. Just lower the back foot down for warrior 1, and then inhale, come up for warrior 1. Big giant step back into the abyss of the unknown. Hooray! Nice job. Pause here. Inhale, reach up through the fingers. As you exhale, straighten that front leg long. Draw your right hand to your right hip. Inhale, reach up through your left hand. And as you exhale, reach forward, out and down, bringing left fingertips to the floor or the block on the inside edge of your front foot. Yeah, awesome. Now you can choose to stay here if you'd like, or just as we did before, take revolved triangle. So you'll draw the outer right hip back, scoop the right low belly in, and rotate your ribs towards the right. Yep, maybe the right hand floats, maybe it doesn't. Steve, draw your outer right hip back a little bit more. Yep. and then push into your front big toe mound. Okay. On your next in-breath, go ahead and unwind. And as you exhale, step back, downward facing dog. And then just observe and notice what you notice between the two sides. Okay, and then we'll try that one more time on the other side. Inhale, lift your left leg up and back. As you exhale, step the foot halfway between your hands and your back foot. And start to shift your weight forward, maybe hands on blocks, maybe hands on floor, to lift your back leg parallel to the floor. Yeah. And then maybe you hang out here in the standing splits position. That's totally great. Maybe you start to walk your spine to parallel-ish to the floor. And maybe use the blocks, or maybe you use neither. And then maybe you bend the left knee and start to hover the hands at heart center for warrior 3. Nice work. Now you've got choices here. Since we know we're going to warrior 1, you might just bend the front knee, step the right foot long and back and come up. Or you might lower the foot first and then bring the spine up to vertical, whichever one works best for you. Yeah, nice job, guys. And then you just pause and you'll breathe. I think sometimes the situations that evoke the best within me are the ones that surprise me a little bit. They ask me to do something I might not have known I was possible or capable of doing. Okay, let's go ahead and straighten your front leg. Lower your left hand to your left hip. Pull that left hip back so the hip stays square. Yep. And then inhale, reach up through your right hand. As you exhale, reach forward, out and down, lowering your right fingers to the floor or the blocks inside of your left foot. And then find that parallel spine. So spine is parallel, yep. And then start to draw your left ribs back. Stack the left shoulder towards the right shoulder and maybe rotating the spine a bit towards the left. Great. And you just got 2 more breath cycles here and you're noticing what you notice. Very gently, you'll inhale and unwind. And then exhale, press back, downward facing dog. Now for this last one, you can inhale and come forward and cycle through an up dog or cobra if you'd like, or just hang out in down dog for a few breaths. But you're just allowing yourself to notice what it feels like in your body at this moment in time. Great. And then let's go ahead and bend our knees. Lower your butt to the floor. And sit up. So we're gonna end with something similar to what we started with. So your hands will come back behind you. Make sure your fingertips are pointing forward. Make sure your feet are about hip distance apart. And if they're too close to your butt, it makes this really too hard. So they can be a little further forward, and that's okay. So you'll bend your elbows, hug the elbows towards each other, start to press your chest towards your knees, and maybe you hang out there. Maybe you push weight into the feet of your feet and lift your pelvis high. And we'll take this 2 times. So maybe the first time you just look down at your knees and you lengthen your tailbone and you hug the elbows, or rather the shoulder blades, onto the back. And then you'll lower your butt back down. You'll extend the legs long and just see how that feels. Great. And then we'll go ahead and do it again. And for today, I would encourage you to keep both knees bent, but if you want to try it with legs long, you can do that as well. And then fingers, you might have them continue to point forward, or you might have them face out. It really just depends upon how your shoulders are doing. And then you'll bend the elbows again. Hug the elbows towards each other. Press the shoulder blades into your back, your chest towards your knees. And when you're ready, you'll inhale, lift your pelvis. And you'll pause. And if you're taking the gaze towards the ceiling, feel like you still have a turtleneck going on. So your chin is drawing towards your chest, your shoulder blades are hugging onto the back, and the gaze is coming up. And then when you're ready, lower the pelvis back down. Come up to sit, legs long, and just observe and notice what you notice happening in the shoulders. Awesome sauce. Let's go ahead and grab our blanket. and sit up on our blanket. So you might want to fold it over so it's in this Tadasana of the blanket. You might leave it just exactly as it was. And then for this one, we've got options. So maybe both of your legs stay long and you just bend your left knee in and you cross your left foot outside of your right hip. Maybe you bend the right knee and swim the right heel outside of the left pelvis. It just depends. But then you'll lift your butt up, slide your butt a little to the right and put your butt back down. Okay. And then this right hand can just come to the front of the left shin. The left hand can come behind you. And just as we did before at the very beginning, imagine that you're still that sprinkler system. So you're not using your arms to twist to the left, but you're allowing the rotation to happen incrementally from the inside. And you're noticing that by coming out of it a little bit, it allows you to go a little bit deeper. Ironically enough. Awesome sauce. Next in-breath, let's gently unwind and we'll just take a brief counter stretch here. So left arm to the inside of left shin bone, right hand behind you. And you'll inhale and lift up and exhale, rotate just to the right. And then inhale, unwind that. Extend both legs long. And we'll try the other side. So maybe you'll just draw the right foot outside of the left thigh. Maybe you'll swim that left heel outside of the right hip. And then if you do that, you might want to lift your butt up and over to the left a little bit. And then we'll just take that little sprinkling system over to the right. So you're allowing the ribs to rotate on the right side. So maybe the left hand can hug the right shin and the right hand can come behind you. And you're allowing the rotation to happen more from the inside versus forcing things on the outside. Awesome sauce. On your next in-breath, gently come back through center. Right hand to the inside edge of right shin, left hand behind you. Gentle little counter twist to the left. And then you'll inhale and unwind. Go ahead and draw both of your feet together for Baddha Konasana. And you'll just be here for a moment. You might choose to just have the top of your sacrum come forward as though you're hinging at the hips. You might choose to round your spine in a little bit, but you're just observing and noticing what's happening for you here. We've got 3 more breath cycles here, so just pause and breathe. And when you're ready, you'll gently come out. And when you're ready, we'll all meet on our backs. Now, as you come onto your back, I do encourage you to wrap your bodies if you get cold. I also encourage you to make sure your blocks and your blanket are somewhere nearby so you can take your time to get there. We're going to do a bridge first before Shavasana, Steve. Okay, and then once we're on our backs, just to make sure our sacrums are okay, let's bend our knees and plant our feet firmly on the floor. Go ahead and grab one of those blocks and slide it between your inner upper thighs. And you're just going to do about 10 little squeezes of that block. And so the block is whatever setting it needs to be, so it feels like your thigh bones are really dropping into the appropriate hip. Yep. And you're squeezing at about like 20% of your capacity. So it's really just to get the adductors to fire. Also get them to release a little bit. Yep. And then after you've done your 10 sets, Pay attention to where your hands are if you want the palms to face up or if you like the palms to face down. But you're going to inhale and lift your pelvis up and exhale, lower your pelvis down. And you'll just do that about 5 times. And as you lift and lower your pelvis, pay attention to if both hips are lifting at the same rate, if both feet are doing the same amount of work to lift your hips. Yep, and then the next time you lift your hips, we'll go ahead and stay there for about 5 breath cycles. So the work here really is on making sure that the thighs are parallel, that you're hugging into your block, pressing into your foot, but your big toe mound especially. So whole sole of the foot, yep. And then you're just noticing what you notice happening. One of the things I find inspiring about the situations that evoke the best within me is not only do they reveal surprises, but oftentimes they require that I let go of some of my own limiting beliefs, worries, preoccupations. Awesome sauce. Next exhale, go ahead and lower down. And then you can choose to remove that block if you'd like, and then do whatever final shapes or shape would feel really good to you. So a thigh root might feel super awesome. Figure 4 might feel super awesome. You might want to windshield wiper the legs. You're choosing whatever feels best to you so that you can really enter into a state of shavasana, of complete rest. And when you do feel complete, so if you're already ready to go there, by all means, head to your final relaxation pose. And as you're coming into these final few poses, I encourage you to check in with your breath. How is it doing? Where do you feel it the most active and alive in you? Do you notice the breath in the nose? Do you notice the breath dancing across the palate of your mouth? Is it in your throat? Your chest? Do you notice it in the ribs or in the abdomen? Doesn't matter so much where the breath is, just as long as you know where it is and can connect to where it is. And then once you feel like you have a pretty good idea of what the breath is doing and where the breath is at, I invite you to bring your awareness to the physical sensations of the body. And to the best of your ability, allow your awareness to sort of float around where it floats around. And each time it momentarily rests on a different part of the body, can you allow that part of the body to soften by about 5%? So you're just allowing your awareness to rest on the sensations in the body. And as the mind and the awareness floats around, and as it settles on one particular point, you invite the intention to soften that part by about 5%. And you'll continue in this way for a few more minutes, and I'll let you know when it's time to come out. Return your awareness to your breath. And just take a moment to check in, to notice what you notice. Very gently, you'll start to invite small movement back into your fingers, maybe into your toes. And then feel free to stretch and wiggle and yawn in any way that feels good to you. You'll start to make your way over to your right side and just pause there for a moment. And then gently, you'll start to make your way to a tall, comfortable seat. And then I encourage you to really take the opportunity to sit well and tall and just place the hands wherever is comfortable for you. And then as we end, we're just going to notice what we notice. So, noticing the weight of the hands, noticing the weight of the thighs, your calves, your feet, the arms, noticing the weight of your pelvis, and then the lift up through the spine, the lift through the crown, the softening of your jaw, your tongue, and the eyelids. I think one of the best parts of our practice is remembering us or reminding us that we don't have to do really anything spectacular to be of service. We just need to show up, be present, and do our best. And if we can remember that that's all that's required, we'll have more instances where the best is evoked from us, where our advice, our support, our love, our nurturance can really be seen and felt and heard. And that we can really have a positive impact in the lives of others as well as our own. So, with that being said, we'll close our practice by drawing our hands to heart center Anjali Mudra. Press the palms into each other. Receive the weight of the thumbs into the sternum. And then softly lower your chin towards your hands. The light within me honors and salutes the light within both of you. Namaste.